Hi, so this is a quick look at circular reference feature in NetTools. So circular references is talking about infinite loops of group membership. So it's where a group is a member of another group and then a member of the original group going. So it's actually caused an infinite loop. Now for an Active Directory, this doesn't actually cause much problems. It's aware of it and it actually manages it in terms of when you actually get your access token, you'd only actually count each one of those infinite loops once. But then for external applications, which are actually doing nested group analysis or looking at those, potentially can cause an infinite loop and cause programs to crash. Also, one of the other side effects of infinite loops is that when you're managing an environment and you do have infinite loops or circular references, it becomes quite difficult to actually work out which groups are actually providing permissions. Well, you may add a user into one group thinking that you'll set your permissions and they pick up a number of different permissions as well based on that circular reference. So NetTools provides this feature which actually lets you search for these. So by default, when you run it, we select our Active Directory and it will scan all the groups, and as it goes through the groups it will actually try and spot where it finds a circular reference. So we just run it and that's gone through the groups. There's not many groups on this particular Active Directory, but it has got a circular reference in it. So it will actually, in this default mode, it will display all the groups which actually have a circular reference. Now it may not be that particular group is causing it. So if you like for the first item here, it's saying it actually found the circular reference at the 8th level. And so what we can actually do is go circular reference, look at the members of, and we can see that this group E was actually then added back in again. So it went back in. So this section here is a circular reference, and it's actually picked that up. Now because it goes through every single one of these groups, it never looks to see if it's actually the first group in the chain. So when we look at this, we'll see that it's picked up. So it's scanned group A, found a circular reference in it, then gone through the directory, found group B. So it started at this level on the next one, gone through it and found it. So if we actually then look at that reference here, we can see that B has found it. So it's actually finding a number of duplicates in there. Now what we can do is we can actually do the start of circular reference option. And what this will do is it will only actually report a circular reference when the first group, or the group which actually is scanning, is in that circular reference, is actually the one that causes the reference back. So when we run it, we can now see there's only 3 of them, and we can actually now look at these ones and go, okay, so group E is actually referencing itself. Group G is actually going back into E. So if we look at the actual properties of this particular one, we can see that it's actually group G has actually got E in it, and that's what's causing the circular reference. So on this particular one, if we look at this one, we can see that group group E is pointing to that, and group E is actually pointing to group G. So it's actually that group group E is actually pointing to group F, and that's actually got it in there. So as you can see, it can be quite complicated to work these out. And when you actually go through them, it does take a while to work out where that circular reference is. So this will help you say, yes, there is one, but then you have to try and work out how that's actually been achieved. And so a combination between looking at your members and members of, you can actually then work out where that circular reference has come about. So that was it. That's a quick tour of circular references with a feature in NetTools. That's it for now.